Hi everyone, it's Eddie here at Eddie Makes Art. I'm so glad you have chosen this video to watch today because I'm doing what we call a long haul. And here's a few things you're going to need to do your own long haul. You need a gel plate. It doesn't need to be this big. It's okay. You can use whatever size you want. Hashtag size matters. Then you need a stencil, right? This stencil is by my co-designer, the amazing Estella Banks. It's called Paisley Party. It's available at PM Artist Studio, and it comes in a 9x12, which is what I'm using, but it also comes in an 8x10. So even if you only have a 5x7 plate, you can certainly get this up again. You can certainly use your larger stencil on there. Just pick, a section that you want to do, and you can do a long haul that way too. So pull out whatever plate you got. All right. Now, when you put your stencil down, and you can see this is a brand new stencil, never been painted on before, and it's a Yupo stencil, meaning it sticks. Everything sticks to it. That's what it was made to do. Now, I like to do is go over the stencil with my brayer, make sure everything has nice full contact. Now, the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a brayer, right? I alternate between the large one and this medium-sized one because sometimes some stencils require more of a, targeted response instead of a, complete, or one sort of swoop like that. Anyway, we'll talk more about that when we come across it. You need some paper to clean off your brayers on. I like to use my Hammermill copy paper, that 32-pound Hammermill color copy paper that I used to pull print with, because then I can use those brayer offs in other projects. So keep that in mind. Then you're going to need papers to print on, because a long haul is where you leave the stencil down, you add a layer of paint, you pull it off. You add another layer of paint, you pull it off. And what that's going to do is that's going to attach itself, the paint's going to attach itself and create sort of a border within the designs of the stencil. And when you're done with your final pull, however many you want to do, you then lift up your stencil, and what's left behind is all those layers of goodness that you've added, right? You're going to let that dry, and then you come back with the pull color and you pull a print. That's a long haul. Then you have all these awesome papers that you can add to your stash and use in all sorts of things. Now, for today's papers, I am using different tissue papers here. Normally, I would use Carnival wet strength tissue, but I'm feeling a bit daring today, so I'm trying out some different tissue papers. This was a lot of this tissue paper was sent to me by Robin over in Maker, so thank you very much, Robin. So we have gold. This particular one, okay, so this black is from Blick. This is an artist tissue. That's Blick. And then this is the gift tissue that that Robin sent me. Okay, so you notice the difference in color. That's why I decided I might as well use both. And then I have, this is white. It is just gift wrapping tissue. So we use some of that, but it's pretty strong. So that's what I'm going to be pulling my paint with. And then you're going to need a pickup paper. These, what I'm using is a craft deli paper. And you can get these anywhere. You can get the white deli paper if you prefer. But you can also use another piece of tissue. And this is mainly to clean up, like if I get too much on and I can't pull it all off with one piece of tissue, or if I go over the borders and I want to keep those clean. That's what these are for. So I have a stack of these ready to go. And then you want a paper towel. Take a piece paper towel, fold it up, because what you want to do is when you lay down your tissue and you go to rub the tissue into the paint, it'll tend to come through the tissue, right? And if you don't want that all over your fingers, use your paper towel to go over the tissue, right? But it also works as a way to get into these finer details of the stencil design and get the paint from those. All right. Now you can also use what's called a baron. This is a wood baron. It's got a flat, smooth bottom to use to burnish the paper onto the gel plate. Optional. You also need paints. Today I'm mostly going to try and use some golden paints, golden fluid acrylics, like these. And I'll mix in some other paints because it's a good idea when you're doing the long haul to alternate between your thinner, like fluid acrylic paints and maybe a medium body or heavy body paint. Kind of mix it up. It gives you more interest. And let's get going. We're just going to start. Why do I have my glasses? Oh, because sometimes I can't read the bottles. That's why, Eddie. Let's put those on. So the first one I'm going to do is carbon black. This is golden fluid acrylic. Give it a little shaky poo. It moves better when you shake it. It gets stuck sometimes. All right, let's get some black on here. And I like to begin with a dark color like the black because it helps to establish a really cool outline for you in this long haul process. And you can repeat colors. It doesn't have to be, every color in the rainbow. You could do it that way, but you can just do, if you want to just pick like 3 or 4 colors, you can do that. It's up to you. I will do my best to toss in some metallic layers as well, because that also adds to the final print. So that's the plan. See, look at that cool design I got on my brayer off. Now this would make another cool paper to play with because it's got that cool design on it. It runs right down the center, and then you can, fill in on the other sides. Patricia over at PMR Studio taught us that, so it's a very good thing. So I'm going to start with the gold. Shiny side down, obviously. Let's see here. So look at that. Oh, that looks cool already. So I'm going to use my paper towel, and you see the paint already starting to come through a little bit. See? It's a good idea to use that. Once in a while, you're going to see me forget to use that. And that's because I just get into what I'm doing and I forget. All right. Come on, tissue. That's pretty snazzy. More grungy. I like it. Let's use we'll use some white tissue now to pick up what's on this what's left here. And you don't have to get it 100% up. That's what's going to add to the uniqueness of your final pull. See, I did it again. I did it already. Okay, let's pull this one up and we'll continue. Now there's still some paint left in there. I'm okay with that. That's very nice. All right, let's just do for my next color. How about let's do this burnt sienna. And this is semi-transparent, semi-opaque, I guess. But you see, I like golden because they do these, they have the color swatch right on the bottle with the paint already applied over it. Now you may hear some loud noises during this video. and that's because they are doing construction literally right next to my place. Um, so you may hear some of that. But a lot of this background noise has not been a problem since I got my new microphone, so I'm kind of grateful that I got them. Now you don't have to use tissue when you're doing these, but I like to use tissue, especially when I'm doing a brand new or using a brand new stencil, because like I said, UPO is meant for things to stick to it. And the regular paper, like a copy paper or the hammer mill color copy paper, can stick to the stencil when it's brand new if you leave it down too long. And tissue usually does not. And as I say that, I'm like, all right, this is going to stick. So let me pull it up. See, it started to stick there. Oh, I knew it. All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead. We'll pull off as much as we can. Oh boy. See? Now, this is a good lesson. I don't mind this happening now because that way you can see that the UPO is a sticky thing. And when you're using thinner paints like the fluid acrylics, they can stick. So I'm going to do my best to try and get some of this tissue off out of the design areas, like the openings. Let's see what we can do. Now, if this happens to you, you can simply take the stencil, soak it in some water for a little bit, and then the paper will usually just come right off. So it doesn't ruin the stencil, it's just stuck to it, and a little water, maybe a little like dish detergent or fairy liquid, as they say in the UK, you can get the paper off, and it will not affect your stencil whatsoever or the performance of it. This happens, and I'm glad this actually happened because there are new gel printers out there who get intimidated or they get frustrated when something like this happens. They think they did something completely wrong and they just don't know. It happens to all of us. Anybody who gel prints has experienced this one time or 10 times or another. I've experienced it many times. But the positive effect of something like this happening is that you get to learn how your paints work. So now I know that next time when I use this paint, it needs to be the paper should not be left down so long, and maybe use the wet strength tissue because that tends not to stick so bad. I decided today I wanted to use these regular tissues to demonstrate you can use them on the gel plate generally. So let me get the rest of this. I'm going to speed this up so I don't bore you. All right, that's most of it up. I think it's pretty much out of the openings of the stencil, and I've got some stuff to use that's definitely usable. Now, I've used two fluids in a row, so now I'm going to use something that's more medium bodied. Let's see here, maybe let's use this turquoise. This is Amsterdam turquoise blue 522, if you're interested. Love this color. I want to pull this on the black one now. Got some little itty bitsies here that on my brayer, and I'm just gonna brush them off. Because the tissue will start coming up as the more you add wet paint to it. That's lovely. Isn't that cool? All right, I mangled it trying to get it out of the box. That's okay. Yeah, prints are definitely possible with deli paper. A lot of people just pull their prints with deli paper, especially if they do a lot of collaging, because this is nice and thin, and it works well. It tears easily. All that good stuff. It tears easily. Told you. Get some of this in here. Let's see if that's good enough. Now, one of the cool things with this technique is that by using a Yupo stencil, the paint on it, as you add more and pull off more, it's going to eventually give back. Meaning the paint that's already on the stencil, like maybe dried, will start pulling off a little bit, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong with your stencil. That's just the nature of paints, and they'll pull off in bits or whatever, and you'll get these really cool like prints. Now you see here, that's what I'm talking about. It pulled that off the stencil from that previous layer. So lots of things to learn and understand with gel printing. So please don't feel overwhelmed by what I'm saying. It's taken me a couple years to get to this point. So, don't give up. Just play around. If the print doesn't look good, you know what? Set it to the side. I get a box for stuff like that. I set it to the side. Then I go back to it a week, 2 weeks, maybe a couple months later, and I look at it again. I go, oh, maybe this just needs another layer of something. So don't throw those, ugly prints away. Here, let's just do this metallic. This is a teal from Deco Art. We'll do a little shiny. We all need a little shine in our lives. And these less expensive metallics are great. They come in a wide variety of colors, and they perform very well on the gel plate. I'm not a paint snob. I use whatever paints I can get my hands on. So, just so you know. I'm from the generation of use what you've got, because you're not going to get anything else. Let's go ahead and pull this one with the gold. Nice. I get excited when it lays down nice and smooth. It avoids the wrinkles, but even if you get wrinkles sometimes, that's no biggie. Now I can come back as well with some of those previous poles and put them back down and add layers to those as well. I may not do that today because I just want to show you, just your basic poles. Ooh, that looks fantastic. I love that. Can't wait to touch it once it's dry. And we still got some stuff left off on here. Let's try the black tissue that Robin sent me. Oops, that all just went down. This seems definitely thinner than the Blick paper, so I'm going to pull this up ASAP. You see these little white areas? That's where the paint is starting to pull from the stencil and go, get on the paper. Very good. Okay. Now, the one problem I find with gel printing and doing a long haul is sometimes you run out of room to put your prints down while they dry. It's okay to walk away from this for a little bit. Make sure, while those prints dry and then continue. I don't suggest leaving the paint to dry on the stencil on the plate for too long. That can affect the look of your plate. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's continue here. Let's try some of this azo gold, another golden fluid. It's a good time also that you doing this. It's a good time to learn how quickly your paint's dry, how much paint you're going to need. Um, it can be heavy-handed at times, and so I've tried to be conscious of how much paint I'm putting down. Let's do this one on the white. I'm gonna not leave this down for too long. Just gonna do a quick rub. Okay. Look at that. It's already pulling up stuff. And that's what's good about using a fluid acrylic is the fluid acrylics tend to pull stuff off of the stencil. Oh, look at that. We've only done a few pulls, but it's already looking so cool. Like, look at it. It's gone down to the black here. Very cool. All right, let's, where's my pups? They fell on the floor. Let me just use this. I'm just going to layer onto this here. Just to get some of that out of there. Some of these need a little more attention. Okay, I think we're good here. This is some tissue coming up. See, a lot of that tissue's already come up, and if it hasn't come up yet, it will. If it sticks to your paper, it's okay. It's just added texture. All right, what else do we have here? So we just did the nickel or the azo yellow. We did the metallic. How about we just use some primary yellow? Oops. And this is what I was talking about when I'll use different, types of paint. This is a relatively inexpensive paint. Well, it's pretty inexpensive. Called Essentials by Royal Langnickel. They work really well. And especially if you're a beginner, don't go and start with your expensive paints because you don't have enough experience, I think, on the gel plate with the expensive paints, and you're going to waste more paint than anything. So I started honestly with very inexpensive craft paints on the gel plate. That was my first go at gel printing, and it worked fine for a beginner, right? And so don't poo-poo those cheapo paints because they're a great way to begin. Because even those will tend to have different drying times, different viscosities, all that, sciencey stuff. The stencil's looking so good, isn't it? Ooh. Very nice. got green, obviously, because, well, it's on black paper, but it's also from the blue that was already on there. Let's keep going. Let's go with, what do we have here? This is a Naples yellow red. I do have Naples yellow. No, that's ochre. Donde está my Naples yellow? This is, are you hiding? Here it is. Naples yellow deep 223 Amsterdam. Another great thing, another good tip of when you're starting out gel printing and you're wondering what paints to get paints in a set, even like a basic set, because with your 3 basic colors, you can create all different colors, all sorts of colors. But like, let's say you feel like you're ready to move on to a more a higher quality product in paint. I would go for the sets because it gives you a good starter base of colors, and it's a much less expensive way to test out these paints before you commit to buying the larger sizes. Here's the tissue. I want black. All right, let's get this one. It's so thin. Be careful with this one. I don't want this down too long because it looks like that paint is drying quickly. And it's dry here today, so that also adds to the stick factor. Because the drier your air, the quicker your paints will dry. And in reverse, if it's more humid where you are, the paints will take longer to dry, which can, in both cases, is a good and a bad thing, right? Let's say you're working on something and you don't want your paint to dry fast. Living in a humid climate is great. Now, if you live in like Arizona, somewhere in the Southwest, your paints are going to dry quickly. And if you're an impatient person, that's great. But if you're working on something and you don't want the paint to dry, you can certainly use what's called a acrylic retarder or a paint. I can't think of the word right now, but it is a. Do I have my tuber somewhere? Where is my tube? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this one is from Blick. Blick Artist Acrylic, slows drying time of acrylic paints. And you see, that's the name. That's what they call it. I didn't make that up. That is the artistic term, or the technical term. So expect some dilution of color, strength, and shrinkage if larger proportions are used. And from what I've gathered, usually 4:1 is a good ratio, meaning 4 parts paint, 1 part of the retarder, and that is a good start. You may need to add more retarder depending on what you're going for. How about this one? I love this one. This is the green gold, golden fluid acrylic. A great color to have in your stash. That is for sure. This will go on some white tissue. Although I do have white deli paper, I just don't know where I put it. Maybe after this I'll get some, because this is. And you notice how it's separating on there. That will happen with fluid paints because of the oils on the plate. I lost my paper towel. I think it's hit the floor. I will sacrifice my beautifully clean hands for the art. Now you notice this tissue is acting better because there's more paint on the plate, the stencil, so it won't stick as much. There's always discussion, do I clean my stencil? Do I not? That's up to you. That's personal choice. Some people never clean them. Some people do. Now, if you are one of those people who likes to keep their stencils pristine, I have a video. If you go um, into my channel and you look up under videos, type in the search word Murphy's, you will find a very good quick video on how to clean your stencils using Murphy oil and water. And it's kind of an ASMR type of video, so I think you'll like it. Here it is. I got this deli paper on Amazon. This is the labeling. I don't have a name or anything, but I wanted it because it didn't come folded, which is nice. So maybe we'll use some of that now. I'm going to be a daredevil. I'm going to use some permanent rose. This is a great color from Winsor & Newton. It's from their Galleria acrylic line. It's a transparent paint, which is nice. Transparent versus opaque versus semi. I have other videos where I discuss that, but I can do a video if you'd like discussing it further. I'll tell you what I know and what I've experienced. So, I can do that. And if you ever have any ideas or things you want me to explore or make, drop it in the comments. I am open for suggestions. If you have any stencil design ideas, I'm glad to take suggestions and ideas. I'm always looking for new inspiration. So yeah, that's what the comment section's for, kids. I messed that one up, but that's okay. And see, this is when I want to use that extra. Here it is. My other one, because I get all these little edges up. Try and get into these openings, and the deli paper doesn't seem to. The paint doesn't seem to go through it like it does with the tissue. So, yeah, like there's no red on my hand. So I'm pretty confident just using my hand and not the tissue. But honestly, I've done this many times without using the paper towel. Wait, do you see this? It's picking up everything off the stencil. Wow. Okay, I did not expect that. This is a 100% gorgeous print. I don't know what else to say. It's just, and that's the wonderful thing about gel printing. Sometimes you pull a print and it's like, whoa, did I really do that? And that's the great thing about using the Yupo stencils, is because the Yupo it does that. I don't find that with the Mylar stencil like I do with the Yupo stencil. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, enough gushing. Let's move on. So next, let's take some. What did I want to use? I just had it in my head. A metallic. I want to get gold. Where is my gold? Here's some gold. This is Pebeo 352 iridescent gold. Oops. See, I always put too much. I think it's these types of tubes. I'll blame the tubes. All right, let's go for it. And a lot of this paint is looking like it wants to come up. I can see it pulling, like flipping up a little bit. That's okay. It's another good way to clean your stencil. You can see, you see where it's splotchy? That's where those bits are, playing around there. So I'm going to pull this on the black, obviously. Get just one sheet, that would be great. All right, let me take a peek here. Should be ready. Should pull nicely. Yeah. Okay. Can give it a quick little rubby, and see what else we can pick up. Okay. Wowza. How is that? Ooh, I love that. That's very good. Very good. What shall we do next? Let's go back to a fluid. That's my black. Let's do some phthalo blue. Very strong blue. And you notice I haven't used my larger brayer. Oh, a piece of paint just came up onto the brayer. This, it's just easier using the smaller brayer to get into those smaller openings. See, this is strips of paint that's coming off the stencil. That's okay. You can also use the Murphy's oil technique to wash your brayers. Ooh-wee. Look at you. Stunner, stunner. That's gorgeous. All right. I'm going to speed part of this up because it's just the same thing over and over. So I'm going to speed parts of this up. If I need to jump in and, talk about something, I will. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, guys, so I'm done printing. There was a lot of prints. I'll let you know how much at the end or how many. This is ready to get pulled. So at this point, all you do is you lift up your stencil, and you notice how some of the paint got under the stencil. That was mainly due to the tissue sticking and I'm having to rub it, but I think that this is going to create a really, really beautiful final print. So I'm going to let that dry completely, and then I'll come back and add a final pull layer. All right, guys, this has been sitting overnight. I just wanted to make sure I got everything I could get off the plate onto this sketch paper. So let's see. Now, what I'm doing here is technically is loosening, but we call it crack the edges, crack in your edges, because sometimes when you have some extra paint out here, it attaches to the paper and can cause a rip when you're pulling it. All I'm doing is I'm pressing down a little bit on the edges, all around, including the corners, just to make sure it's nice and loose. So let's take a peek. And sometimes what I like to do is while I'm holding and pulling the paper with one hand, I take a finger here and I'm just like pulling it away a little bit gently to make sure that edge releases. And again, just keep an eye on those edges as you're pulling. And I'm pulling up, 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 up. There are other gel printers who will flip their plate over and then pull the plate off the paper. You can do it that way as well. Um, everybody has their own way. This way works fine for me. Ooh, 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 kitty, kitty, kitties. Look at this beauty. Amazing. Look at that. All that coolness and the shininess going on. It was definitely worth the effort to get a really cool dynamic print like that. Wow, that's fantastic. So I have all my papers lined up all around me, not lined up, they're like stacked. So I'm going to take a moment, I'm going to gather them, and I'll be right back and I will show you the different prints that we made today. All right, here we go. No particular order. We've got a nice print here on black tissue with blues and whites. Looks like some kind of tealy mixture going on. Some cool little shiny bits as well. And then this one, this was definitely gangbusters print. Check that out. And this is on the white deli paper. This one's really cool, very grungy. Has a lot of possibilities. Here, similar with the blues, but they both have a lot of possibilities as well. Here's some lovely grungy black on gold. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. And then we have this one. We got some silvery action going on there. This beauty here has a lot of potential as well. Ooh, I love this one too. And you can see here a lot of stuff that's been pulled off the stencil. You also have like a lot of cool shiny bits in here and there, and the color variation. It's quite yummy. This was nice too. Again, possibility. This one too. I love this one. I did my best to capture as much as I could on the edges to fill up the sheet because I think that's really nice. Ooh, look at this one. This one is just shiny goodness. Oh, feel it. It feels so good. And this one's faint, but we'll work on that. This one's beautiful. Gold. You can't go wrong with gold and teal. You cannot go wrong. This is a beautiful, just black outline or black print with the on the white tissue. Beautiful. This one here, I forgot what color this was. But look at that shiny goodness. It's wonderful. Here again, silver. And I started picking up prints on that hammermill copy paper. Here's another fun gold one. This is the one when I cleaned off the stencil off after I took it off of the gel plate. This is nice too. And they have texture to them because, like I said, some of that stuff comes off the stencil and sticks onto the print, and it adds a nice texture. It adds some really cool things. You can see here. You see there's some shine in there. This one is wow. Very cool. A lot of texture on this one. You can hear that. Look at this. This one's lovely. Love that. The gold peeking through all the designs. It's just magical. Very cool. Very grungy. I love it. This one's fun too. And this one's so good too. This is blues, and the black you see is what was pulling up off the stencil. It's fantastic. And this is some of the stuff that pulled off the edge too. That's lovely. Another great one. This is blue. Very cool. These are fun. Now this one red, it's not super exciting. It's kind of blah, but you know what? It's only one layer. We can go further. Brayer off. Oh, this one got crunched up. But it's super good. Let me give it a wiggle. Ooh, it's so good. This was the one after I pulled that one. So you got some beautiful stuff going on in here. More of the black tissue is showing. That's fun. This is the just blue on the craft deli paper. And this is just like a haunting kind of green. This would make a great background for Halloween. Oh, love it. Look at that. It's really just wonderful. These are the brayer off sheets from the session, and of course I've got a bunch of the pickup papers that we used. Oh, and we can't forget my greatest mistake. Look at this. When the tissue stuck to the stencil. But you know what? These are great pieces, so I'm going to put these in my stash because I can find ways to use these for sure. And I just wanted to show you what the stencil looks like now that it's dry. Look at that. Isn't that cool? The gradations of color and, all this really cool grunginess. And then this was the side that was down on the plate. And remember, I said that a lot of the paint that got under here was a result of the tissue sticking to the paper and me having to rub it off so the stencil kind of moved. But Look at that. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this long haul. And thank you, Estella Banks, for creating such an amazing, amazing design for me to use. And if you like this video, please share it with a friend. Also, don't forget to hit like. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. It helps me more than you know. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you very soon. Bye.